Chapter 16. With Christmas morning breaking, tonight we witness Emma and Cory's race to complete their final task before sunrise. As their town awakens to discover their magical gift, the true spirit of Christmas begins to spread. As the first rays of Christmas morning light began to peek through the train windows, Emma, Cory, and Pixie were suddenly plunged into almost complete darkness. The train's magical lights began to sputter and dim, and the icy fingers of a cold wind reached for them. Emma inhaled sharply, the cold air stinging her lungs as an enormous ethereal clock materialized before them, its hands inching ominously toward 6:47 a.m. "What's happening?" Cory's voice quavered, a tremor of fear rippling through his words. Before Pixie could respond, the air around them rippled with a magical haze, like a mirage in the desert. Ghostly figures flickered into existence, fleeting glimpses of the souls they'd encountered on their extraordinary journey. Private William Anderson, his uniform now translucent as morning mist, offered a solemn salute before dissolving into the ether. Elizabeth Blackwell's determined visage appeared for a heartbeat, her eyes blazing with a silent call to action. The Christmas Express magic wanes with the approach of dawn, Pixie explained, her usually fluffy, sparkly tail drooping quite suddenly. Its power to weave through time and space diminishes with each passing moment. You must complete your journey before the sun crests the horizon, or all may be lost. Emma's heart raced like a wind-up toy set loose. "But how?" she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "What must we do?" Pixie's eyes shimmered with both hope and desperation. "A grand gesture is required, one that embodies all you've learned. It must be a bridge between past and present, a testament to your transformation, a gift to your community. Only then can the true magic of Christmas blossom fully." Cory's brow furrowed, his mind racing. "A grand gesture? But how can we possibly encapsulate everything we've experienced?" As the siblings grappled with this monumental challenge, the train's speed began to falter, its magical essence visibly ebbing away. Outside, the world held its breath, awaiting their next move. Emma's thoughts swirled like leaves caught in an autumn gust, recalling each profound encounter. The Civil War soldiers' selfless sacrifice, the suffragettes' unyielding determination, the farmers' quiet resilience, the nurses' boundless compassion, the reverend's quiet strength, and finally Grace's poignant reminder of life's true riches. How could they possibly distill these powerful lessons into a single transformative act? "What about social media?" Emma ventured hesitantly. "We could spread a message of hope and unity." Cory shook his head, his eyes distant with thought. "It's too passive. We need something tangible, immediate. Maybe a community service project?" Pixie's ears perked up, a glimmer of excitement returning to her eyes. "You're circling the truth. Remember, though, you must weave together the threads of old and new, of yesteryear and today. As the spectral clock ticked relentlessly towards sunrise, Emma's eyes suddenly blazed with inspiration. "I've got it!" she exclaimed, her voice ringing with certainty. "A Christmas chain of lights." Cory turned to her, hope kindling in his expression. "What are you thinking?" Emma's words tumbled out in an excited rush, like a river breaking through a dam. "Just like the magical memory chain we created for Grace. What if we create a real physical chain of lanterns through the town, connecting important historical sites to places of significance today?" Pixie's tail began to wag with renewed vigor. "Yes, continue." "Each light could represent one of the lessons we've learned," Emma elaborated, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "We could leave symbolic gifts at key locations, blending traditional elements with modern technology. Imagine lanterns at the Civil War Monument, solar lights at the old suffragette headquarters, and LED displays showcasing local history at the community center." Cory's face broke into a grin, his eyes sparkling. "And we could involve people we meet along the way, making it a true community effort." As they spoke, the fading apparitions of their past passengers seemed to solidify slightly, nodding in silent approval. Pixie's voice rang out clear and strong in their minds. "You have found your path. Now you must race against the dawn to bring your vision to life. Are you prepared for this final challenge?" Emma and Cory exchanged a look of fierce determination, their sibling bond palpable in the charged air. "We're ready," they declared in unison, their voices blending in perfect harmony. With a final magical whistle that seemed to pierce the veil between worlds, the Christmas Express glided to a stop at the town's edge. As Emma and Cory stepped from the train, they felt the weight of their journey and the urgency of their task settle upon their shoulders like a mantle of responsibility. The eastern sky blushed a deeper rose with each passing second, and they had a town to transform before the sun fully awakened. Hand in hand, with Pixie bounding ahead like a guiding star, they set off into the quiet streets of their hometown. Their hearts pounded with purpose, ready to create a Christmas miracle that would bridge time, space, and the very essence of human connection. The pre-dawn air nipped at their cheeks as Emma and Cory raced through the slumbering town. Pixie led the way, her diminutive form pulsing with a soft, otherworldly glow that illuminated their path. The ethereal clock hovered above them, its hands creeping inexorably towards 6:47 a.m., a constant reminder of their race against time. As they moved through the town, Emma and Cory's determination grew with each step. They stopped at the local hardware store, its windows dark in the pre-dawn hour. "We need supplies," Cory said, his breath visible in the cold air. Emma nodded, reaching for the door handle. To their surprise, it turned easily. "We're closed, but I saw you kids running about," came a gruff voice from inside. Mr. Johnson, the owner, emerged from the shadows, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. "What's got you two out so early on Christmas morning?" Quickly, Emma and Cory explained their mission. Mr. Johnson's weathered face broke into a wide grin. Well now, that's the kind of Christmas spirit we need around here. Take what you need. It's on the house. Armed with strings of lights, lanterns, and batteries, they continued their journey. At each stop, they not only placed a symbolic light, but also left a small gift and a handwritten note explaining its significance. At the old factory, now standing silent and abandoned, they paused. This place used to employ half the town, Cory said softly. Now it's just a reminder of what we've lost. Emma's brow furrowed in thought. Then her eyes lit up. Wait, remember what we learned from Grace? About finding richness in community? Cory nodded slowly, realization dawning. You're right. This isn't just an old factory. It's an opportunity. They placed a bright, hopeful green light at the factory gates. The note they left read, "This light represents new growth and opportunity. Let's come together as a community to reimagine this space, not as a loss, but as a chance for something new." As they worked, early risers began to notice the growing chain of lights. Mrs. Rodriguez, the local baker, came out of her shop with a tray of fresh cinnamon rolls. "For our little Christmas elves," she said with a warm smile. "Now tell me about this light you've placed here." Soon a small crowd had gathered. Emma and Cory shared the stories behind each light, watching as understanding and inspiration spread across their neighbors' faces. By the time they reached the town square, their small group had grown into a procession. People were talking excitedly, sharing ideas sparked by the Christmas chain of lights. "We could turn the old factory into a community center," suggested Mr. Tompkins, the high school principal. "Or a business incubator for local startups," chimed in Mrs. Lee, a young entrepreneur. As the sun began to peek over the horizon, bathing the town in golden light, Emma and Cory stood in awe of what they had started. The Christmas chain of lights glowed brilliantly, but even brighter was the spark of hope and unity in the eyes of their neighbors. Mayor Aldrich, who had joined the crowd, cleared his throat. "I believe," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "that we've just witnessed the birth of a new Christmas tradition, one that honors our past, celebrates our present, and looks with hope to our future." A cheer went up from the gathered crowd, and in that moment, Emma and Cory knew that their journey on the Christmas Express had changed not just them, but their entire community. As they continued their journey, each stop along their Christmas chain of lights took on deeper significance. At the Civil War monument in the town square, Emma reached into her bag, her fingers closing around a small battery-operated light that seemed to appear out of nowhere. "For William," she said solemnly, her voice barely above a whisper as she placed the light at the monument's base. As she switched it on, the light blossomed with an otherworldly blue, reminiscent of a Union soldier's uniform. "To remember sacrifice and duty," Emma murmured, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. The gathered crowd watched in respectful silence, the weight of history settling over them. Their path led them to the former city hall, where suffragettes had once raised their voices for equality. Cory carefully placed another light at the base of the courthouse steps. This time, the light bloomed in a vibrant, determined purple, reminiscent of the suffragettes' bold sashes. "For Elizabeth," he said reverently, his voice carrying clearly in the hushed morning air, "and the unending fight for equality." Mrs. Thompson, a local teacher, nodded approvingly. "It's crucial we remember these struggles," she said, her voice thick with emotion. At the community center, where civil rights rallies had once echoed with songs of hope and determination, Emma placed a lantern, its light a warm, rich brown that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of freedom songs. "For Reverend Marcus Johnson," she said, her voice filled with reverence, "and the ongoing struggle for equality and justice." As the light flickered to life, someone in the crowd began to hum "We Shall Overcome." Slowly others joined in, the melody weaving through the pre-dawn air like a promise of a better tomorrow. Their final stop brought them to the local nature preserve on the edge of town. Here, Cory carefully set down a lantern that glowed with a vibrant, earthy green. "For Dr. Amanda Chen," he said solemnly, "and her warning about the fragility of our planet." As the light bloomed, it seemed to breathe life into the sleeping flora around them. Dr. Patel, the town's environmental scientist, stepped forward. "This is a powerful reminder," she said. "Perhaps we can organize a town-wide conservation initiative in the new year." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. As the golden rays of Christmas morning finally embraced the town, Emma and Cory found themselves back on their front porch, breathless and exhilarated. Before them stretched the miraculous fruits of their labor, a town transformed by the power of memory and hope. The magical chain of light pulsed one final time, a dazzling display that painted the awakening streets in a kaleidoscope of color. Slowly, almost reluctantly, it began to dissolve into the growing daylight, yet its essence lingered, leaving their once sleepy town vibrant with an indescribable energy. A familiar whistle pierced the air, at once distant and intimately close. Emma and Cory turned, their hearts quickening to see the ghostly silhouette of the Christmas Express shimmering at the foot of their hill. One by one, the spectral passengers from their wondrous journey materialized. Pixie's voice, a melody of stardust and wonder, echoed in their minds one last time. "You have journeyed well, young ones. The true spirit of Christmas now beats within your hearts, and you have kindled its flame in your own time. Our grand adventure together is complete." As the figures faded like morning mist and the train vanished with a final triumphant whistle, Emma and Cory felt a bittersweet wave wash over them. Their incredible odyssey through time and spirit had reached its end, leaving them forever changed. The creak of the front door behind them shattered the moment of reflection. "Emma? Cory? What on earth are you two doing out here at this hour?" Sarah's voice was a mixture of surprise and gentle concern, tinged with the warmth of a Christmas morning greeting. The siblings turned to find their mother framed in the doorway, still clad in cozy flannel pajamas and a soft, well-worn robe. For a heartbeat, Emma and Cory were struck by the sheer ordinariness of the scene, as if their magical journey had been nothing more than a shared dream. But then subtle shifts came into focus. The Christmas wreath adorning their doors seemed to glow with newfound significance, each pine needle and berry a testament to nature's enduring beauty. Heirloom ornaments passed down through generations sparkled in the early morning light, their delicate surfaces reflecting untold stories of Christmases past. And their mother's face, though puzzled, radiated a warmth that spoke volumes about the enduring power of family love. The crow's feet at the corners of her eyes, once seen as mere signs of aging, now appeared as badges of honor, evidence of a lifetime of laughter and shared joy. "Ma'am," Cory began, his voice quivering with a symphony of emotions, each word carrying the weight of their incredible journey. "You couldn't possibly imagine the night we've experienced." Emma chimed in, her eyes sparkling with newfound wisdom. "We have so much to share with you about the true essence of Christmas, the bonds of family, and what truly matters in this whirlwind of a world." Sarah and Matthew exchanged a bemused glance, a mixture of curiosity and warmth dancing in their eyes. "Well," Matthew said with a gentle chuckle that seemed to embrace them all, "it appears you two have embarked on quite an extraordinary adventure. Why don't we step inside and unravel this tale over a cozy breakfast? And bring Pixie inside with you. She looks positively frozen." As they crossed the threshold, Emma and Cory were struck by how their familiar home had transformed through the lens of their new perspective. The Christmas tree, once merely a festive decoration, now stood as a majestic symbol of enduring tradition and unbreakable family bonds. Its branches seemed to reach out, offering comfort and connection. The gifts nestled beneath its boughs, while still enticing, no longer held the all-consuming importance they once did. The aroma of freshly baked cinnamon rolls wafted through the air, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. As they settled around the kitchen table, steaming mugs of rich, hot chocolate warming their hands, Emma and Cory began to recount their journey. They carefully omitted the more fantastical elements, focusing instead on the profound lessons they had gleaned about sacrifice, equality, resilience, compassion, and finding meaning beyond the glitter of material possessions. Sarah and Matthew listened with growing wonder, unmistakable pride blooming in their expressions. "You know," their mother mused, her fingers tracing the rim of her mug, "I caught a glimpse of something about a community light display on social media this morning. Did you two clever elves have a hand in that magical endeavor?" Emma and Cory shared a secret smile, their eyes twinkling with shared memories. "You could say that," Cory replied. "We thought it would be wonderful to weave the town together in a tapestry of Christmas spirit." "Well," Matthew declared, rising from the table with newfound purpose, "I believe it's high time we ventured out to witness this community celebration for ourselves, and perhaps we can brainstorm ways to keep this beautiful spirit alive and thriving throughout the year." As the family bustled about, preparing to step into the crisp Christmas morning, the soft flap of the doggy door drew their eyes. Emma smiled and opened her arms to Pixie, a festive red bow adorning her neck like a holiday gift come to life. Her fur shimmered in the morning light, almost as if dusted with the last remnants of Christmas magic. Sarah knelt down, her hand gently caressing the little dog's silky ears. The Papillon leaned into her touch, its tail wagging with unbridled joy. I should have known you would go with them and make sure they would come back safely, little Miss Christmas. The grand Victorian house stood proud against the bright Christmas sky, its windows gleaming like beacons of joy, reflecting the magic of the season. Garlands of evergreen and twinkling lights adorned its gingerbread trim, a festive embrace that seemed to welcome the entire neighborhood. And if you listened with your heart as well as your ears, you might just catch the faint, melodious whistle of a train in the distance, the Christmas Express, forever carrying the transformative magic of the season to all those whose hearts were open to receive it. The magic spreads as we prepare for our final chapter. Tomorrow, we'll see how this extraordinary journey changes everything. Check out all of the other books in the Magical Papillon series of cozy mysteries on Amazon now.